Recording has stopped.
Yes, I've stopped it again because I want it to be crisp and rounded. If we put it there, we shouldn't pass on our emotions onto others. You see that? Whenever you are reading it or playing it back, you should be able to prove. Otherwise, it dampens you a little. So I want it to be all fresh. And I'm going to do everything, myself. So let's go quickly to the where is it? The interim assessment folder. I've generated a PDF. Please just prompt, let me know again, which one do you see now? Do you see the, according to Descartes, what can be known for certain?
Yeah.
Very good. Then I'll focus on that. I'll just scroll that and then engage you. So the question said, according to Descartes, what can be known for certain? The possible answers are the evil genius. The other one, the B is none of the given options. C is his own existence anytime he thinks of it. And then D is the dream argument. And we say that the option that is the most appropriate one, given what those that we have here, is what his own existence anytime he thinks of it. That is what he can know for certain. Discuss that in the earlier one. Identify the philosophical question among the following. I think we did that also in the earlier slide, so I won't waste too much time on it. When you study the earlier one, this will be a continuation. Which aspect of informed consent is a physician preoccupied with if he asks for an interpreter to assist him to inform his patient before administering a medication? Okay, which aspect of the process of informed consent will the physician be engaged in if he asks for an interpreter, someone to interpret something to assist him to inform his patient? Would it be A, relationality, B, comprehension, C, compatibility, or D, articulation? I think that one someone can help us with their response. Anyone wants to do that? We are on record now. I'll need to go ahead.
The comprehension.
Okay, comprehension. That's what we are looking for. It means that the physician is trying to ensure that the patient can comprehend or tiase. We said that the patient should give his or her informed consent, but there were 4 steps we wanted the physician to go through to ensure that the patient has actually given an informed consent, not just a consent. Okay, so the 4 steps are there. One of them is comprehension. So we say that where you call in an interpreter to assist with interpreting information to the patient, it means you are working at ensuring that the patient comprehends what you are doing. Training in philosophy will lead to all the following except liberate you from prejudice and provincialism. Develop in you a defensive and dogmatic posture. We don't do that. So that would be the exception. Philosophy doesn't train you to develop a defensive and dogmatic posture. Every time we are talking, you are defensive. You are defending what you've done. You are stuck to one line, dogma. This is how it's done. You are not subjecting anything to critical scrutiny. That is not philosophy. Okay. And the next question on my screen says, philosophy adopts only one of the following methods, which is, we did that in the earlier one, where people chose, some chose friendly banter. No, we don't do that. We teach you to do critical analysis. Speech formation, no. We don't teach you to do speech formation. We don't do speech therapy. Okay. So the evil genius argument was used to doubt what? A priori truth. I discussed that extensively in the part 1. Okay. In his Allegory of the Cave, Plato admonishes the enlightened philosopher to do what? Now, this question looks like the earlier one that even our lady read in this our session, but they are not the same. Look at the possible answers. In his Allegory of the Cave, Plato admonishes, advises, entreats, tells the enlightened philosopher to do what? Look at the options. A, to return to the cave to enlighten the disillusioned prisoners. That's true. But if you choose that immediately, you may be wrong because of the kind of options you have. It's a skill. So you should always be minded when you are choosing possible answers. B says to keep the light from the undeserving, ignorant prisoners. No, that is not true. Then C says to remain outside the cave and rule over the unenlightened prisoners as a philosopher can. No. And it is not none of the given options. You see that the earlier one had all the 3 of them being wrong. So the answer was none of the given options. This one, there's one correct answer there, and which is what? The advice to return to the cave to enlighten the others who are disillusioned. Okay. Then the next question there, I suspect we've done it. The branch of philosophy that is concerned with the question of value, of beauty, is what? Beauty, aesthetics. If you forgot, I just reminded you. There again, we have this one. Which approach of doing philosophy is criticized for emphasizing questions of meaning and under-emphasizing questions of truth? Okay, that approach of doing philosophy is criticized. That approach is criticized. So someone else is criticizing that approach of doing philosophy. Which approach is this that is being criticized? The one that emphasizes questions of meaning, language, definitions. Which approach does that? It will be the analytic approach. So who then will be criticizing the analytic approach? Answer is the speculative approach. Okay. If we were on Sakai, I would have scrolled through so you see whether people got the mark correct or wrong. Or you can test the assessment of where people are not reading closely. There's another one that says, which approach of doing philosophy criticizes the other? Oh, no. What I just said there, we have to watch it again. No? I used the earlier one. Please look at it. Which approach of doing philosophy is criticized? This one says, which approach of doing philosophy is criticized for doing this? So here we are looking for the one that does this thing, emphasizes questions of meaning and emphasizes questions of truth. Please, you see that? Because that is the one that is being criticized for doing this. So this question will be what? The analytic approach. There's a one that is like this, which says, which approach of doing philosophy criticizes the other for emphasizing questions of meaning? So here, who does the pointing of the finger at another person? Okay, that one would have been the speculative. But the current one, I want to repeat that, which says, which approach of doing philosophy is criticized for doing so and so and so and so? That one will be the analytic approach. Okay, simply put, the analytic approach emphasizes meanings, definitions of terms, language. What do we mean by this? What do we mean by that? What is the meaning of this? That is what the analytic approach focuses more on, not whether it is there or not. Is there life after death? No. You say, what is the meaning of life? What is the meaning of justice? So the concern is clarity in the use of language. And that has attracted some criticism from speculative approach, who says that, look, you are all interested in the language. You are not focusing on whether it is actually there, actuality there, metaphysics. Is it there? Does it exist? Are we free? Does man have a nature? Is there life after death? These are questions about actuality. So if you say, what's the meaning of justice? You are doing what? A philosophy from an analytic approach. The speculative folks will say, well, meanings is good. But we could stipulate a meaning and then just find out if it is there. Is this a just society at all? That is not a question of language any longer. It is talking about actuality and how we are ensuring that there is justice. What is there? Metaphysics. What exists? Okay? So sometimes the speculative folks think that the analytic folks are just wasting too much time seeking clarity and meanings, and it's all logic, language, less of truth. Okay, we got that. Then you're able to write an essay on that. I said some things in the part one. I'll hold myself accountable to them when I'm fine-tuning my exam questions. You see that is why I keep doing that. So people don't say, oh, Doc, we didn't do the questions 1 to 30, Okay, so it is open to all of you. It is given to everyone. Then you would also have the questions 30 to whatever, maybe 50 or 60 or 80. Then that link will also be shared to everyone. So by the time we finish, we went through all the IAs together. We just didn't rush through to show you that this one, the answer should have been A, this one, the answer should have been C. That one I've returned to you. We know that. But why? Then we use that opportunity to elaborate a bit more. So you are able to put your thoughts together to write an essay type question on those same discussions. So that's the rationale. So make it a heartbeat to engage those links, please, so that you don't hold me accountable or you don't feel that you were wrongly dealt with. I'm just saying that there are stuff I've said in there, especially for this topic. I think I even asked an essay type question with this, that it could have been an essay type question on this. Distinguish, say, analytic from speculative approach of doing philosophy using any of the, I think that's what I said, using any of the philosophical texts we've studied in the course so far. Distinguish the approaches that the authors have used. So Plato, for example, what we studied, did speculation. He used a speculative approach, telling us that there are two worlds, the world of reality versus the world of appearance. Who went into the world of reality with us? He's talking about what there is. So he's doing what? More of what? Speculation. Something he claims there is that we are unable to even substantiate with our physical eyes. If someone is saying man doesn't have a nature, man is this, man is that, man is free, human beings are this. These are speculative approach of doing philosophy. Then if you want to show the contrast of that person, so you can say, well, if this author wanted to approach the discussion from an analytic approach, he could have set up asking, what does it mean to say this? What does it mean to say that? Or you could show that an aspect of the person's philosophical questioning can be labeled as analytic because it did the work so and so this way and asked this and asked that and asked that. And by the time you finish, you are preaching an essay, maybe worth 15 marks or 10 marks. It could be a question. So please engage that. Okay. This one too was dealt with. So I'm going to empirics like so and so and so. Emphasize so and so. We said the correct answer is empirics like it would have been between Hume and Locke. Okay. But look at the second part of if you chose Locke, then when we say empirics like Locke emphasize, look at the next option given for the Locke one. It says emphasize reason. But we know that empiricists don't emphasize reason. So we won't choose the Locke option because it comes with a baggage that we don't like. So we choose Hume, where Hume is also an empiricist and it is correctly associated with what? Experience. Experience is the one that they say is the source of knowledge. Okay, so if you got that one too, then we can move. Now, question 7. Please, if you see my screen, you could read the question 7 for me. It's part 3 now. Part 3 of part 2. There are different pools, okay? So someone can read the question 7 for me quickly. Who can do that for me if you can see it? Can anyone see that question, please?
Yes.
All right, so someone read it for me. Well, I mean, I want to drink water, that's why.
Okay. The dash will claim that morality is a matter of different strokes for different folks.
Thank you, ma'am. Who will claim that? I gave you only 2 options so that the confusion is less, but the risk is high.
Subjectivist.
Okay. Very good. Because if I put a relativist there, it could be contentious. So I put only absolutist and subjectivist. And I wish I could have looked at this one, the feedback for this on Sakai to see how folks fared. I suspect they will do well with that question. Okay. So the answer is the subjectivist. Different strokes for different folks. Everyone in the kind of cane, the cane they are feeling at their back. 1-1. So it's the subject. I mean, straightforward. The theory of the dodo can be summarized as the golden rule. Which of the methods studied, let's say method, the philosophy study can be equated to the golden rule? A or B, utilitarian or deontologist? All of us, those of us here, if you can hear me, let me see if we have a chorus answer. Is it utilitarian or deontologist?
Deontologist.
Deontologist. Well done. That's your, okay, thank you. Then one of utilitarianism's key proponents is it Immanuel Kant or J.S. Mill? I even added Kwame Dechi. I'm sure some people would choose Kwame Dechi.
J.S. Mill.
J.S. Mill. These are all straightforward questions. That's why you people did. Generally speaking, performance was okay, but I wanted it to be a little bit more higher than that. Okay. If an act is ethical, then it will be religious. an act is ethical, then it will be religious. Is it false, true, certainly, or
False.
none of the given options? It's false.
False.
Yes, it's false. If I put probably there, then you would have chosen probability. Okay. But if I make it true, it is not true. And if I say certainly, it's not certainly. If I say none of the given options, so in fact, because it is possible, or whatever. So I would have gone for false. If an act is ethical, then it would be religious. Look at this, a conditional. If A, then B will necessarily follow. Okay, but that is not the case with our statement. So we'll say it's false. Okay, question 14. Utilitarianism is a type of the ethical theory. Would you choose deontologist or consequentialist? I mean,
Consequentialist.
it's consequentialist. Who is answering all my questions like that?
Esther.
Hey, yeah, you answered all the questions well. I hope you got. Did you do well for me? Or you will say for anyone to hear. Esther, you are doing very well. Okay, maybe others too know, but they are not in the mood for saying consequentialist. Okay, utilitarian thinkers like Dodo emphasize the quantity of the good. This one you see in the slide, but it was in discussion. So who emphasizes quantity? Is it Mill or Bentham? All of us? Yeah? You are muted, so I can't hear you. Who emphasizes quantity over the quality? Is it Mill or Bentham? Nobody? Oh, my people.
I chose male.
Yeah.
We see where the HBD.
Madam, I chose male. I don't know where.
Okay, Mill is quality. JS Mill emphasizes quality. When you go, you play back the recording, you see it's there. So it's in it. Bentham, when I use the sobolo at a party, I said the people can mix the sobolo with so much water. Sobolo is a kind of drink, local drink, spiced with stuff. So you could mix it and keep mixing with water just to increase the quantity. People do that. That would just reduce the taste, but then they are able to serve with plenty. When they see that people came to the funeral more than they were expecting, they mix it and then bag it differently or pack it into bottles again. So there will be so much. See, quantity will increase. I use that to show. And then it will serve greatest good for the greatest number. People will say, well, so it was good that we did it that way. Mill says, yes, the greatest good for the greatest number, but the good in question, the greater good, is not just a matter of quantity. He will go for quality. So for some of the campuses, I use perfume. I think the in-person session with the first group, I used perfume. I said you could have a perfume, one small tiny perfume sitting on the shelf there, and it is whatever pounds. Meanwhile, you can get a bigger one. You could get a bigger one, very big, plenty inside, and it is 30 cedis. But one small tiny one, 500 pounds or something, sitting on a shelf. I think the afternoon session too, I used that example. So Mill will be focusing on what benefits plenty people, a greater good that benefits more people as what? That which defines the rightness or wrongness of that action. So he's a utilitarian. But he's focused on the greatest. You see, the greatest good, you might have the inclination of thinking, yeah, just talking numbers. No. He will do quality. So the output that has the highest quality over quantity. You will do the calculus for that, maybe in moral philosophy, level 300. So I don't want to do the entire of that here. We'll show how he thinks you should measure fecundity and all those things to determine the quality, while the other folk is also looking at the quantity. Okay, if you got that, then we can move quickly to some consequentialists may be self-centered, and therefore, if you are self-centered, what would you be? It's on the screen. Therefore, if you are self-centered, You'll be an ethical egoist, not an altruistic person. Altruism means you are more concerned about other people's welfare. So you look at the outcome of the action, yes, but the outcome as it benefits other people. I've said all these. It's just a mop-up. So you know what to fill in and what you should. You are confident that you know. Then the last one for this pool of questions, it says the dot order will rather maintain that a man is a measure of all things. Who maintains that a man is a measure of all things? Who? Look at the options on the screen. Sorry.
Subjectivist.
Very good. A man is a measure of all things. Who made that statement? I mentioned it in class. You may not find it in the slides, but I mentioned it in class. Does anybody remember who that statement is attributed to? A Greek? Sorry, sir.
Madam, please come again.
A man is the measure of all. Yes, a man is the measure of all things. If I said a man is the measure of all things.
Protagoras.
Protagoras. Very good. Very impressive. Was it Esther still or someone else? Mama, go ahead. Please, who spoke?
Rebecca.
Rebecca Mobayad. It's Protagoras. I just said it in class offhandedly. I didn't even stress it that much. So please take note. I didn't say Pythagoras, though. I said Protagoras. He is the one that this statement is attributed to, that he said. And he wasn't even talking ethics, but people bring it up all the time when they want to talk ethics, because the thing is profound. It's a profound statement he makes when he tells you that a man is the measure of all things. And I jokingly said so many things in class. The same slap that Atakufi gave to Kojo, and Kojo was angry and was hitting Atakufi. When the sister even gives him a heavier slap than that one, she will say, "Oh, slap me again," and he'll be happy with it, because he's determining whether he should get offended by that slap or not. Okay, a man is the measure of all. They put water on your table, you touch it. So I said I want cold water. The sister who said, you say, "Oh, but this is very cold." You said, no, I want it cold. You do the pepper for the banku, then the brother says that, "Oh, this one there is boys food. We want it very hot." You say, but this thing I use a lot of pepper. It's very hot. When I taste it, it's going to my nostrils. I can't even eat one bite. It's very hot. They say, "Oh, this one is not hot." A man is the measure of all things. Suppose I ask you to write an essay with illustrations that are philosophically interesting in law, politics, religion, something like that, to show or to critique or evaluate Protagoras' claim, or if you like, Protagoras' seemingly subjectivist claim that a man is the measure of all things, for 15 marks, what would you do? That is the thing. I would be asking you, if I did that, I would be asking you something that is on your unit, on the ethics unit. You see, the discussion that we had on ethics, it will be practical, and it would not be in any textbook. It will be trying to get at your thoughts about what the ethical questions we've raised, and then how you can reconcile all those ideas around the claim that what a man is the measure of all things. Morality is a question of different strokes for different folks. Some even use that to mean that is relativism. Different folks. So Ghanaians are one folk. They will have a different stroke compared to, say, Afghanistan. People from Afghanistan, isn't it? And stuff like that. But if I ask such a question, it will be to know how you will interrogate subjectivism, how you would critique or what assess the subjectivist view. And you are able to even make a better contribution with that one if you can move and show that the subjectivist is not like the emotivist who thinks that everything is just emotions. And the subjectivist view may differ from relativism of the second type. You see, and stuff like that. It will be weird, no? If you do the question very well, you see that you cover grounds and it will show that you have engaged the content. But the focus is really on whether, like from what I asked, the focus is on whether um on whether the subjectivist view is more defensible, or as you would think of it as an option to take. And you and I know what the problems could be with it. If you don't remember, then you go to the slides and look at it, because there's a possible exam question I can ask. And this recording is accessible to everyone. So if you didn't do it, you cannot blame anyone, of course. Okay. Now I'm able to share my Sakai now. We are done with that first PDF. I'll try and pull the second one, but whilst I wait to do that, I'm sharing the Sakai. Now I will now need someone to read for me. Okay, for your own sake. I don't leave anything out. Thinking of one compulsory question and two optional ones that you will choose. Very easy, very straightforward, to allow you to express yourself so that you don't feel tied to a certain way of thinking. Anyone able to read what I've shared now, please? Alright. Anyone able to read what I've shared, please, quickly? Can you put up your hand if you can read for us? Oh, nobody. Rita Ford, Ajay. Okay, there are two hands up. I'll take Alma Rebecca. Rebecca, go ahead, and after you, I can take a star more. Thank you. Go ahead, Alma. You're
Okay, thank you.
You.
Part 2, question 34. Which of the following correctly describes the discipline called philosophy? A. Thinking critically and objectively about fundamental issues of life and offering a perspective on how to conduct our life.
Good.
B. A rational activity centered in argument and critical evaluation of evidence.
Very good.
C.
That's also correct.
Reflecting on the fundamental presupposition of thought and action, or
Very
the
good.
ends conduct of human life should be directed.
So far, you would see that what Rebecca has read are all correct. Oh, people who read just the first one and they say, oh, this is the correct one. They don't read the rest. And we are training ourselves and improving upon our skill of what? Critical scrutiny, your ability to look at things closely. Not that you are looking for error, no, but you want to make sure you understood what the person said. For some of the questions, you see that the difference it makes is incorrect. Instead of saying which of the following correctly describes the discipline called philosophy, you would have another one that says which one of the following incorrectly describes it. So the I prefixing this one changes the whole meaning of the question. Then the options for this one, all the options given there are correct. So then the answer is all the given options correctly describe the academic discipline called philosophy. If you were not patient enough to read through to the end, as soon as you saw the first one, you choose it and think that the rest, oh, this one is correct, so you move on. No, there are others that are correct. They have been given options, the set from which to choose. Okay, so if you got that, then we are moving to our question 35. I think that we have a better Sakai now. Identify, oh, sorry, Sister Reed, please.
Madam Sister, I can't see all.
It will come. I've shifted it. Question 35. Can someone
35.
see? Go ahead.
Identify the philosophical question among the following. A. What are the confirmed causes of COVID-19 infection? B. Is COVID-19 bacterial or viral infection? C. Is the state under any obligation to protect its citizens from COVID-19? D. Has the COVID-19 patient been discharged?
Very good. Now we all know what the option that we are expected to choose is. Is the state under any obligation to protect its citizens from COVID-19? Let us interrogate why. So can anyone show us why the option is the C, as we see on the screen? What about the C makes it a philosophical question?
Finding solutions to the problem.
Yes, so look at, that's fine, that's correct. But look at the construction, the language of the statement. It helps you see that it is dealing with philosophy. What word? Okay, look at that expression. What word will make you know that this one is asking a deeper question, not just everyday, questions about how we should organize? Was it bacteria or viral? I mean, that one is not philosophical. It's not looking for. It's not addressing a foundational or belief-based doctrine. No. Please, you understand me? So look at the expression. It is the word obligation. Obligation is the state under any obligation to do or to protect its citizens from COVID-19. Does the state have a duty? Yeah, have a duty to protect its citizens. As soon as you talk duty, state, obligation, protection of citizens, you are making a lot of assumptions that attract what? Questioning. We will now want to know, but is it the state that must protect someone? Shouldn't it be so and so who are? I mean, the states should only concentrate on how they give us a conducive atmosphere within which we operate, but they cannot interfere in how, because the state doesn't have that right. Who is the state at all? Where does it get its legitimacy from? Now we are doing philosophical inquiry. We are interrogating the matter. Okay, so it is the obligation to protect. When you get to level 3 and you do social contract theories, you see what I'm talking about in practice. Some do not think that we have consented to anything. We are cosmopolitan, not within any particular. So it's the expression. The state has a duty to ensure that it is solving the problems of society or is responding to them. It's protecting its citizens, and that is philosophical. It's addressing a deeper foundational question about what the duty of the state is, what we are obliged to do as a state. Very good. And to continue, question 36.
Okay. Question 36.
My lady, I suspect we've done this all. So you just read through it. When you get to the end, I will not say anything. I will skip because I think we've done it. If you look at it, please read.
Yeah. Okay. Which aspect of informed consent is a physician preoccupied with if he asks for an interpreter to assist him to inform his patient before administering a medication?
And the fine gentleman, your colleague already told us his comprehension point. You don't worry yourself. Then I elaborated that the patient, the physician wants the patient to understand what he is going to do. So he's trying to meet the comprehension bit. Okay. Question 37 just came faster than, and I'm happy about that. Please go ahead. I think that this was also handled in the first video. When we are ensuring informed consent, we may have a challenge. Something else may be affected. What is that? Beneficence and non-maleficence. We know that already. There's nothing like non-beneficence. So A and D are out. You see, A and D is just trying to trick you. What is non-beneficence? Don't do that which will benefit the patient, really. So those two are out. Then it is not about he enforcing, his authority over the patient will be undermined. We don't want you to be paternalistic as a doctor. Don't be a boss. So that is not even the one that we are worried can be undermined. You see that? That's why the answer is the C. And then we can move quickly to 38 now. I think we are having a faster network now. If we are even able to get to 50, I'll be very happy. So we can finish this and then look at the third cohort of questions with the Thursday group. Okay, so group 30, question 38. Oh, this one too is a straightforward one. Oh, auntie. Philosophers traditionally think of knowledge as what? Okay, maybe. Why is it not D? Look at it very well. I suspect people will choose D, and we are on Sakai now. So if you allow me, I can go see people choose D. You see the wrongs. The reason why I sometimes I move through it like that is so that you see that people choose D. You got it wrong. So some who think it's revealed truth. The answer is justified true belief. This is on your slide, raw, not even written. So it's not a written essay or something. It's just raw. Traditionally, philosophers have thought of the question of knowledge, have thought of knowledge as what? Justified true belief. First, you know the thing. You kind of say, you believe the thing, it is true, and you can offer justification for it. People still got those also wrong. My sister, so this one, I move quickly. It's not contentious. It's just a raw meaning that you put to the word knowledge. Question 39. Go, 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 go.
Question 39.
Has it come? Mine hasn't
Not yet.
opened. Mine hasn't opened. I'm giving my system a fans so that I can move fast. Please read this one.
Okay. Question 39. Plato, unlike the existentialist, believes that A. Existence precedes essence. B. Essence precedes existence. C. Man is the measure of all things. D. All of the given options.
Very good. Now we know the answer, but why? What does it mean, or why will we choose this answer? There's no confusion at all. If you remember essentialism versus existentialism, which can be a question as well. So I need you to see that we have done objectives only to work. We want to stir the soup to see where it's not well heated, and then I'll put it on fire and allow it to boil properly. Because we have been doing all the busy work, cooking the food, learning this, that. Once in a while, we do some assessment, essays here and there. Then we went to sit uninterrupted 1 hour, 45 minutes, because I took the short answer questions out to write. Now you are done. You've seen some feedback. It is a good time to use the feedback on the objectives to help you test your understanding of the discussions that we've had. Okay. Then it's a good time to fill in those gaps. So I'm saying that you should know why the existentialist claim is not the same as the essentialist claim. They look alike. They're not saying the same thing. One is for Plato and his cohort. So you go and look at Ortega's slides. They are all still at your resource too. Everything I'm saying is still there. And these ones, ditto. So on the day of the exam, you see that your resource 2 was blocked. Because I knew people were going in the hope that, they'll go and check. You are dealing with critical thinkers. Don't joke with the crocodile. Before you got there, I blocked it. I blocked the email, blocked discussion. Yes, sir. So people, those who do that, maybe another, I don't know, but maybe they're able to, if they are struggling, you just look at it and, oh, well, I unpublished all of them, so you couldn't see. So that you do independent work as much as possible. Of course, people can still beat traffic sometimes, but that will be minimal, okay? Now, if you were asked to write an essay, a philosophical essay, if you didn't fix these different perspectives of the questions together, you won't be able to write a good essay. So the short answers help you to check to see if you know what that Heidegger and Jean-Paul Sartre and Ortega are existentialists. Why are they existentialists? What is their mantra, their dictum that they uphold? That is what this question does. It's asking you. But when you get that, then it helps you see why, for Ortega, man doesn't have any prefixed, unchanging essence, but rather man is a project of life, constantly making and unmaking himself. Using what? The compulsorily free, being that he is. Then we tell him, but my friend, you said man doesn't have a fixed nature. Now, from the way you are speaking, it looks like you are giving us something that is fixed and unchanging in man, which is what? That man is compulsorily free, and so on and so forth. So you see that just one question, trying to explain existence precedes essence versus essence precedes existence. You're able to write out a whole discussion between supposed existentialist claim and supposed essentialist claim. Any question? Okay, there's no question that I can move on now to the next one. And I'm still on Sakai. So Sakai, they are not the same. Some I got 1 or 2 emails. Someone said, "Doc, please," but this question and that question, they're the same. But when I wrote it, I got it wrong. But my friend got it. I said, "Hey, buyer." As them now kind of sad. If you look at it very well, see, A is saying existence precedes essence, and B is saying essence precedes existence. They're not the same. One is antecedent, the other is consequent. They alternate. Okay, until we can read this one now.
Okay. Question 40. He does not think that we should speculate about an essence or nature prior to existence.
So who is that?
A.
Who does not think so? It's Ortega. I've explained that, so I don't see anything else in addition. You go right, Jechi. Yay! See your people. I said all the cross. And my brother is what? My brother, what did you say? I didn't hear you. You wrote a you, Jechi.
I know a boy.
Is that what comes? Because J I want to play too. I say if I put mouse crowd and I'll get selection. Hey, man, you. It's Ortega. Finished. And there's no ambiguity there. I could have done Ortega, Heidegger, Jean Paul Sartre. I'll say all of the above. This one I didn't do that. It's a straightforward answer. It's Ortega. He does not think that we should speculate about an essence or nature prior to existence. No. I argue that you are what you choose to be, not what you have been made to be. Who am I? See the answer? None. You see the wrong. See, people are forcing me to be Plato. Charlie, that if be, I can't speak your opinion. It has to be Plato. Now you see the cross. I'm trying to move fast so that people don't see. People don't see the names, but at least they will see them. If they see the name, cry what? Have you died? Have you killed someone? And sister, feel free, cry. If you get this one wrong, there were 60 questions. You could also get 58 correct. So why? I argue that you are what you choose to be, not what you have been made to be. That's Ortega. But look at the options. He's not there. So you have to choose none of the given options. What you choose now? Let's see. I hope that folks. I'm now finding it quite, sister. I hope that people are just psyching themselves. What can then? I find, yeah, I should have done it this way. But this is not correct. This is Sankwa. Then you have it is like washing the dirty clothes. So by the time you sit for the end of semester exam, you have filled in many of those gaps. When I did a quick scan, I think I saw 59, 2 of them, 59 over 60. I said, really? 59, I've destroyed my paper. It's good. But if you didn't get 59 or 53 or 55, or you were not in the 50 columns, you were in the 40s or 30s, it's still fine. Remember, it's over 30. So whatever you have, so whatever you have them divided by 2 is what the actual IE mark will be. See, whatever you got in the IE, because the question was over 60. The questions were over 60. So if you got, how do I even do it? If you got 30, it means you got 15 over 30. If you got 50 over 60, it means you got 25 over 30. You just divide the mark there into 2. So if you are someone who got 18, don't say, hey, how you mean you? I mean, 18. You didn't get 18 over 30. You got 9 over 30. That's how you work it. Okay. Then you add it to your. So those who got 20 something, you already passed 50. You have gotten 50 grammar. You have change there to support your final exam. That's how I assess students. See that you got 30 something, you got 40 something, you got 50 something. Anyone above 50 is already a 30 over 30. That's how it will be recorded for you. Anything above 50 is already 30 over in that range. I grade students, okay? So maybe later we can discuss that. Anyone 40 something over 60, if we were recording, would be maybe 25. Is a range, okay? Then maybe 30 something would be 20, between 20 and 24. That's what will be recorded for you. For the I mark, computable mark. Then folks that got maybe 20 something over 62, you may get 18. Or in all of that, you see that it is still, the ranging helps you. We don't use the raw 15 over 30 because the questions were in the pool. And even the investors thinking, you are told, look, from 80 to 100, they are the same. Then from 0 to 44, they are the same. All of them will get F. If you got 0 and someone got 44, you see that it should tell you that there's a difference between examining and what? Grading. You grade. Grading means you scoop them into, compatible pots like that. So anyone from off my head, and I looked at the performance, anyone 50 and above is already a 30 over 30 for the I. You see that. 40 something, like I said, there are 40 something, maybe even 38, 39, all the way to 40 something, should be 25 and above, in that range. Then 30, so 30 means 31, 39.
Madam, God bless you.
God will bless you too. Don't worry, my brother. They are not blessing me. Somebody got 18, say, graduate him in Bible. God. Then you add that mark to your critical summary. Only one will count. I've already said that over and over and over again. So if you did 3 of them and all of them 10, 10, 10, well done. It helped you to learn. I stress myself to grade them all for you, to be guided, to know how to read the others. But one of them is what will count towards your computation. So suppose you got 26 because you got 40 something in your I. 26 over 30 plus 10 if you didn't copy. If you copied there, honey, you got 3 or 2. But if you did your own independent work, you were rewarded for the effort at the essays. So 10, what they got 26 one is 36. Okay. Then the in-class assessments will work out another 10 for you. So it is 30 plus 10 plus 10. There's something else. And then did we do group work? No, we did 2 different. It should be 30 for the IE, 10 for the critical summary, and then 10 for the in-class. Yes, totaling 50. So 26 here, 10 here, making what? 36, plus the 10 in the in-class assessment. 46. That's what you've got. 46 over 50. Then you go and wait for your final exam to top up. If final exam, you finish with your essays, they are graded, and you get 35. Add it to 46. You are an A student. Somebody is saying that I want to hear it well. So, yeah. So that is how you do it. But you could do so well in the IE, and you don't have class participation, and you don't have in-class exercises. The in-class exercise, you don't need to get a perfect mark. No, because some of them, I entered the class and I said, take sheets of paper. There is a rationale for them. You haven't read it. So I'll catch you. And because you know that this woman will come and ask questions on the topic we are going to discuss today. You will read before you come. That's what I want you to achieve with those exercises. Okay. And then participation. Sometimes you didn't know, but you were in class that day. So you will get to know all other factors what held constant. So when we take the sheet, we look at how many of them that you've done, then how you fared in each one of them. Some of them, if it turns out that all the 3 or so that you did, 1 over 10, 2 over 10, 3 over, then maybe you get 8 or 7. We'll reward your participation 5 marks, but you won't earn the other 5 that makes it 10. You earn maybe 3 or 2. But someone, the first one, 3, the second one, 5, the third one, 7. It will count as 10 over 10. If you participated in Kwanda, you don't get anything below 5. You get 5 for participating in that stressful afternoon or morning, hot morning there or hot afternoon. They can take sheet of paper. You think and think and think and think. Even if it scores 0, you get 5 marks. So it's attendance, first helping you to learn, all of that. So you can add that. But you will be amazed. These fine things I'm saying. Someone know what's the other one? Critical summary. Didn't do a single one. I kept opening and opening because you want to give the person the opportunity to also earn at least the 10 whilst you are helping him and guiding him or her to read. You see, the person will not do it. He doesn't know who is called Jechi or where Ortega comes from. He has never seen an animal called Descartes. But he wants to get an A. No A, no group A, no critical summary, no in-class exercise, nothing. Never come to class before. How do you know? There isn't a single record of participation in class. Not for Thursday, not for Tuesday, not for city. So the person already is getting a 0 for the 50. And these are not many people, maybe 1 or 2 people. But you want to tell the class sometimes so that when they hear that someone failed, say 1 or 2, hey, this goes to you to fail. Maybe you won't fail, but you might get a D for Daniel, Dada. Then we'll Dada you. See, we don't want to do that. So I'm saying it on record. You see that I know this is very good. I'll share with the class all the purposes. Even if you went and you got 49 over 50 in essays, which is highly improbable. Essays, 49 over 50. You got only 1 wrong in an essay. So it means if you went cry, you got 49 over 50. It's a reset. E for Emmanuel, which is a bad fail, a bad pass, very bad pass, E. Or you reset it. You are setting yourself up to reset if you don't have any continuous assessment. Okay, my sister, so let's go. So I'm just showing you that, yes, it is just the multiple choice we are looking at, but they have implication on how you are writing your essay. So I'm spending some good time throwing some light on it for you and then recording it. Then you put it down and then helps your revision until we are ready to write our final exam. So that when we finish and that A's, A, people don't say, but this woman, why? A's are no. The people work for it. They work for it. Even excuse my language, someone who may not like learning is so dumb in quote, because that's how people get the person. They were born this whatever. I won't say that to you, that you will learn. I'll give you work to do. Even if you have chakra, if you got admission to them, you will learn. I'll let you read. Do critical summary, group work. We opened the group work. It was just because some people were not on the site yet and they were getting worked up. They were so stressed, so the emails were too many, so I had to cancel it. But they felt that they were losing out too much. If it's individual assessment, then when they come in finally, like they did, then they get to do it. But if it's group work, you can't go and constitute groups again to do it. And so we put it off. If not, I would have made you do group work as well, in addition to all the several assessments, so that if so you do well. Okay, so you all do fine. It's just to give you a fair idea of how the grading is going and how your essays will go. Do well in the essays, you get 35 or 40. Some get 43. If we did 2 essays or 3 essays, they are able to, because it's just some little things you are looking out for: critical ability, evaluation, comprehension of the text, and writing skills. We want you to write well. We don't want to, I didn't did it, it didn't went, that shall I, it can cost you when we do our Koima thing, okay? But show that you know the content, be able to assess, think a little, and ask pertinent questions. And illustrate, put them in practice. Let us see, that's all. And if you do those ones, then you can score a 45, 40, 42, 38 to add to your something over there. And there you go. With a very good pass, not just a pass. Okay, sister, I finished with my commentary. Please read. According to Ortega.
Question 42.
Yeah.
According to Ortega, one's being is partly natural and partly A. Anti-natural, B. Extra-natural, C. Both options.
Both options are
man.
correct. Yes, both options are correct. So if you chose A, to be wrong, because he gives you both. He tells you can call it anti-natural or extra-natural, an extra part of the natural, beyond the natural, or anti-natural is opposite to the natural. So if you chose A or B, it will be wrong. And if we went through, you see that people would have chosen that. It means that when we are reading the text, we read them in class. We read, I made us use time to read as if I think you can read. No, I want to emphasize that. So in class, you saw that we touched on them, where the boat and the center example was at. And I showed you all this because we knew we'll ask you. Please, I've projected the next one.
Question 43. In his allegory of the cave, Plato admonishes the enlightened philosopher to.
I'm so sorry. I think we've done that one. I think we've done it. This is the second one, but we've done that also. Okay, return to the cave to enlighten the disillusioned prisoners. So we can move to 44. It's section. When it gets to 44, then you read it. Whilst Rebecca reads, Esther, please be on standby. You read the next one for us. Please go ahead and it has come.
Okay. 44. The dash is a project or aspiration of life.
Very good. It's the extra natural part. Yeah. It's the extra natural part. It could have also been said to be the anti-natural part. That's the project. That's the one that you never finish. What you are aspiring to be in life. So you aspire to be, say, a graduate. Then when you get to being a graduate, then you, from graduating and being a graduate, you aspire to be a banker. Then from being a banker, you aspire to be a married man. Then you aspire to be, so you are always aspiring. It's a project that never ends. Okay. Man's being is consists in not yet being. You are always what you are not. Okay. You got all that. We'll discuss that. So you answer questions on that. This at 45. Then Esther can continue.
According to Ortega, what history is to things, nature is to man. True or false?
The answer is false. But let me ask. Do you see why it is false? I got a message from someone.
Yes.
Doc, this question there, I think that's the answer. Why? Anyone?
Yes.
Correct.
Yes. Okay.
What has happened?
Because man has history, but things do not have history.
Very good. I've turned it upside down. I've turned it upside down. That is what has happened there. But a lot of people don't see it. And I'm saying that both with this course, all the philosophy courses, critical thinking also included, we want to make sure that you are looking out for details before you go signing checks and approving stuff which can be detrimental to us. See, according to Ortega's own, which is the correct one, says what nature is to things, history is to man. So what you will call nature for things, you will call it history for man. Man has a past, man has history. That one is fixed and unchanging. What has happened has happened. You can't change it. I use the F example to show someone all the examples that sometimes are not even pleasant. Some are pleasant, but what has happened already? You can't do anything about it. That you were so and so's mother, or your father was a so and so, or you come from a so and so place, is what constitutes your past. Things that have happened to you in your past. You've gotten a broken heart or something. You can't undo what has happened. It is part of your past, a baggage that you carry at your back. This is in Ortega's paper. Like a pilgrim carrying his what? His burden. So man has history. Why is it called history and not nature? What difference does it make? Well, if it's a nature, then it's fixed. Referencing the essentialist. If it is what you are, then it can change. Like what happens with the stone. But human beings own, it is history. It means that something that is past and gone. You can do something else that will redefine your ever-present history. So the next minute you can become something else, which will impact on the supposed history. So you are always creating history, always making history, always making choices that is changing what you are. That is why he doesn't want you to think of what you are as what fixed and unchanging nature. Okay, I've explained it again for friends who may have forgotten or never ever saw any animal called Ortega in their lives. You will answer questions on Ortega as well. Thank you so much, Rebecca. You have a good background, so please be on standby. If we need you, we'll call you. Let's take Esther. I see Christy's hand. Christy, is it to read? If it is to read, then be on standby after Esther. I'll call you, please. Okay. But if it's a question, then go ahead. Is there a question, Christy? Right. Okay, it's to read. Then please be on standby.
No, please, I want to read.
Yes, madam. Be on standby for me. Right? Esther, go ahead. Unless you are off, then Christy can continue.
I can't see.
Oh, you cannot see it, and I've not opened it yet. Oh, sorry. This is it. I'm sorry about that. So here we are.
Utilitarianism is a type of dash.
I think we've done this. Yeah, we saw this. So let me move. Hey, the next one. See, I deleted some of the options because I wanted to reduce, increase the risk, but reduce the confusion. So if you know it, then you know. If you don't know, then your your degree of it's very high. Would you like that? Okay, the second one. I think we've done this also. It was part of the PDF, so we saw it. One of the following is a key proponent of utilitarianism. Then we said it's J.S. Mill, so we can move. Let's see the third one. Oh, okay, it's here. So the third one, I think this is also done. The golden rule one. And your friend said it's deontology. Let's hope that we have it all sorted. Then I can do the next pull with the main campus. Takes a while, but we are patient. Okay, the dot theory could be summarized. Yeah, we didn't do this. Could be summarized as the greatest good for the greatest number. And it is the utilitarian view. The greatest good for the greatest number. Please, does anyone have a question with that? Because there's ethical egoist also there. But we all agree that it's utilitarian, right? Because the ethical egoist is also consequentialist, but doesn't look at utility, how useful it is to how many people. It centers on the person herself, the egoist. Okay, so it couldn't have been that one. My sister, I think you can read this one too. I think we did this moment ago. You read it, if it's...
Some consequentialists may be self-centered and therefore
ethical egoist. The self-centered, is focusing on himself. So we think of such a consequentialist, looking at the consequences of the action as it benefits himself. If you never heard it, I've repeated it. Those who have done some good reading, they might even get worked out. They'll say, oh, doc, this one, we know all that. But I'm telling you, if I went through, like, look at this question. Utilitarian thinkers like Dodo, we saw it earlier, emphasize the quantity of the good over the quality. You see that the answer is Bentham. Look, you see the wrongs. You see. So sometimes the emphasis, the repeating of it, there are a lot of correct also in there, but me, I want everyone to get it correct. I'm like my Father in heaven. So even if 90% got something above 40 cry, I am not happy. What about the 10%? Okay, that's the focus. So someone will say, oh, Doc, this one we know it. I have to keep saying it and saying it and saying it, helping those who would need that, you see, to advance. This one was also done. We answered it in this class. The Dodo will claim that morality is a matter of different strokes for different folks. I even gave a hint that it could become a question of a kind. That time I was using the Protagoras claim. A man is the measure of all things. Okay, you could be asked to use this to either do a critical review or assessment or something with practical illustrations, and you should be able to do that. This is a man is the measure of all things claim. We saw it moments ago, so I can go to question 9. We patiently, one at a time, we'll get it all done. We finish the anchor. It's good news. So, young question 9. Okay, the 2 types of consequentialism discuss. Hey, will anybody get this wrong? My sister read it and I'm drinking water.
The 2 types of consequentialism discussed are natural and extra-natural. True.
Hey, is this correct? Let me go and see. Oh, you are. You see your friends. Hey, my people, do you see it by yourselves? You look at it so that you don't say Doc is making up stories. This is why I wanted to project. See, you see? This question, must it be wrong in the Adolfo Christo? 2 types of consequentialism. Then I myself tell you they are natural and extra natural. Consequentialism. Yeah. Tell your friends so that this woman is a paper exam, the way this woman assesses people, if you don't get an A in her course, or a B plus, or maybe a B, then voila, it is you. It's you. If you go and do go and get D for Daniel, or cat, C for cat. Now you. Okay? All right. Auntie, please read this one.
At-stroke-rule utilitarian. At-stroke-rule utilitarian.
Oh, we can't hear you, Auntie. Auntie Esther, come closer to your thing, or if there's an earphone on, take it off. Okay. So you can hear it clearly.
At-stroke-rule utilitarianism considers only the result of single acts.
Very good. So which one considers only the result? Is the act. The result of a single action. It doesn't make it a rule of thumb. It doesn't make it something that applies for all situations. No. It says that in this particular situation that I find myself in, what will I do that will lead to the greatest good for the greatest number? Okay. Which action should I take to lead to the greatest good for the greatest number? That's the act utilitarian. It says use that kind of principle. If you use that, you will do the right thing. So don't make it a rule that anytime we are in a boat and there are 100 of us and we are sinking, it is okay to kill 2 to save the 98. It might be okay for this particular scenario. It might not be okay for the other. There's a lot of issues with that. Then it means we don't have a principle, a utilitarian principle to work with. We will pick and choose. If I look at your face and I don't like it, or you didn't greet me this morning, I'll get you out. Another day I'll say, no, this guy is a fine guy. He cannot die like that. Okay, and stuff like that. So the act utilitarian has its difficulties. You should read it and see what the challenges are. They are in your slides that I gave you. They are there. Then the rule utilitarian says, well, yes, consider the outcomes of the action, but make sure that your action that you are going to perform to yield greatest good for the greatest number, make sure that action conforms to an ethical rule, an ethical principle. So that is what distinguishes the active utilitarian from the raw utilitarian, and you want to read a little further to expand on it, even if we won't do the whole of moral philosophy now, you can still have a fair idea of it as a good foundation to build on when you get ahead in your studies. Okay. Question 11. Moral standards are traditionally considered to be absolute. Is that true or false? It's true. Traditionally means that is the norm. We take it to for granted that when it comes to morality, it's absolute. But that is what has come under attack. It has been challenged. It has been criticized or critiqued, objected to by what emotivist, subjectivist, relativist, and stuff like that. Okay, so the traditional view is that it is absolute, it is universal, and it's objective. What is this? Morality. Okay. Ethical absolutism or universalism is compatible with order relativism. Yes, it's compatible with cultural relativism. Because absolutist is not denying that cultures are different. Okay? So it doesn't have any problem when you claim that there are differences in the way people do things. That is not in contention. So even the universalist can live with that. Compatibility means you can accept that view. Yes. What the universalist or the absolutist objectivists cannot admit or accept is what? The ethical relativist view, which says what? It's not just describing the fact that cultures are different. It is saying that when it comes to what is right or wrong, good or bad, it should be, it should be prescribed by that culture. So we are different. It's just a safe statement to make. We are culturally different. That's cultural relativism. But does it mean we should be different in what is right or wrong, good or bad? That is an ethical relativist view. If you were to say, yes, we should, then you have gone beyond that. That is what what's the name? The absolutist cannot live with. Okay, but he can accommodate cultural relativism. Let me see if there's a question. I'm talking too much. Is there a question to that? Could be a major essay question. So be on standby, okay, for that. And this is to the whole class, not to only City Campus group A. This is a group A, not to only you. The doc, you want to tell them that this question, okay, I didn't tell us. I'm sharing the links, excuse me, and I'm telling the class. Everybody engage all the parts, because as I speak with you, it is coming out. Your questions are set. That's why I'm doing that. I've set them. And I don't have a wholesale kind of concern question. So when you put it in my head, it might come out of my mouth. So if it comes out, then I give it to the whole class, not to just a few. Just in case that one is the one that can, then you all benefit. So if people don't listen, I don't know what I can do about that one. Okay, I will ask you that question I just spoke about, which I've forgotten again. So you should just read around that, and so that you can do well. Your choices define your ever-changing being, according to, this one is obvious, Ortega. Okay, you are forever changing. Careful. So your choices define this your ever-changing being. Plato doesn't think your being is ever-changing. No, the real you is essentially one. Remember Plato's world of forms, world of reality, world of essences. He doesn't think you are ever changed, but it's the physical you that is ever changed. That one too is not the real you, says Plato. But Ortega thinks your being is what? Ever changing. The real you ever changes. That's why he doesn't call it a nature. Okay. Then this one too, we have answered this. The one that, no, we haven't answered it, but it's straightforward. Which of these two views is criticized for being too strict and mechanical? Obviously, deontology. See. So if you don't know, someone say, what is deontology? Look at, you see, you see, you go through, you see what I'm doing. So if you go through like this, you know that someone might choose consequentialism. And I'm saying that if at this stage, this was done last week, 21st, 21st, Saturday or Sunday, 21st or Sunday, and today is Tuesday. Hey, me too, crowd. Today is Wednesday. Days ago. And people still in this course, after all the interactions we've had, Of course, it's a very big class, so we can understand that we are all not the same, and we have a very good margin of people that take their time to fill in those gaps. But you have to, because if you think consequentialism is the one to be criticized for being too strict and mechanical, then it is a big, big gap. You haven't studied that content. You should. Okay, you should. It's the deontology that is rule bound. It's strictly asking you to work with ethical principle. Don't tell a lie because you want to save a life. Don't look at the consequences, says Immanuel Kant. You see, do the right thing as duty demands of you as a rational human being. Do the right thing. Don't qualify. So you are killing 2 people to save 98. Why? Why do you want to use a human being as a means to an end? This is the problem that someone like Kant has. And so the deontology view is the one that sometimes people feel, but that's too strict. That's too mechanical. Shouldn't we be concerned about the outcomes of what we are doing? Okay. Question 15. We have 5 questions to go. If people have to attend another lecture, we are supposed to close at 2:10, I'm told. If you have to, you can just move. I want to finish this, then I'll use the next cohort to engage our Thursday class. Okay. Sister, read for me. Let me take a break.
A critique, a critique, can you hear? A critique against dash is that it overlooks minority rights.
Very good. The answer is a critique against utilitarianism. Remember the utility. Okay, someone should tell me why this is correct. We don't have much time, but I still want to hear from someone amongst you. If you have a good background, just unmute it.
According to utilitarianism,
Yeah.
the majority carries the vote, and
Very
it
good.
might favor the minority.
Very good. That's all. So the utilitarian is saying that do that which pleases the majority people and gives them the greatest good. You see that? But that will mean that if we are in a minority there, we don't matter. We don't matter. And that is really the heartbeat of someone like Kant. He doesn't think you should do that. So when people are reading all this, the thinkers, they should be careful how they rubbish some of the views. He's rather looking out for what about the few who will not benefit from this decision. He said the decision is okay insofar as it benefits the greatest, it gives the greatest or the highest good to the greatest number. What about the smaller number left out? They don't matter, eh? Okay. So that is the question. Well done. Question 16. After 16, then Lady Christy will do the last 4 for us. Okay. So sister, read this one too.
If an act is ethical, then it would be religious.
No, not necessarily. Here, the answer that I gave is none of the given options. Yeah, trouble don't come. Well, if someone chose false, I could also let that pass. That is why sometimes I give the margins. Okay. But really, I think the point, the logic of this then would be, we discussed this on the PDF and we agreed on false. But I think that I expected to say that it can't also be false, strictly speaking. And it is not true, strictly speaking. And it's not certain. So it's none of the given of, but it's quite tricky. So you will see that there will be a 1 mark hanging in there for everyone. In fact, more than 1, if you look at how I'm graded, okay? So that it means that we are saying if an act is ethical, then it would be religious. Not necessarily. In fact, not necessarily. The answer should be false. Not necessarily. If you are interpreting this as a conditional statement, if antecedent, then consequent must follow. Must. If that's what the person is saying, then it is false. But if you put none of the given options to, we let it pass. So that 1 mark is hanging somewhere that everyone will get you more than 1. Question 17. Let me take Christina. Okay. Thank you so much, Sister Esther and Auntie Rebecca. My bishop's wife is called Rebecca, so you are my bishop's wife. Go ahead, Christy.
Emotivism describes the fact of cultural diversity.
Hey, how did it become maybe? This is not correct too. Anna. It should be subjectivism. No? The answer should be no. Sure, I'll go and change this one, Papa. I'm taking my 1 mark back. Emotivism describes the fact of cultural diversity. No, the answer is a no. And let me hear from you, maybe if I'm not reading right. My people,
It's
emotivism
no.
it's
It's
a
no.
no. Sure, it's no.
No,
No, maybe.
madam, it's no.
It's no. So those who wrote maybe na monya correct me, could not to worry. I'll check it in the system. It's just a matter of tweaking it there. Okay, then question 18. It's good. This is what the discussions are for. So for some people, when they get a feedback like this, they just engage that feedback. To say if it's wrong, then he or she will be learning the wrong thing. We don't want that. So this one will be corrected. So you owe me 1 and I owe you 1. Okay, that's why when you finish and there's a margin of 5 or 10, you haven't hurt anyone because it happens. 29. Sister, go.
Ethical egoism is altruism. Sorry, ethical egoism and altruism are such theories.
Okay, this is correct, isn't it? It's a consequentialist theory. It can be utilitarian. Okay, utilitarianism is another type of consequentialist theory. So the answer is consequentialism. And we are okay with that. 19, then we can breathe. Almost done, eh? Everybody, hold on. Almost done. Question 19. Okay, question 19 says, if utilitarianism is not self-centered, then this one is not a straightforward discussion you've had, but you know egoism, you know utilitarianism, you understand self-centered. And the word social is not about self. So look at it. If Sister, read, please.
If utilitarianism is not self-centered, then it is a or an.
The answer is a social hedonist theory. Okay. Obviously, it is not egoistic. It's a negation of what you know. So if utilitarianism is not self-centered, if it were self-centered, we know what the self-centered theories are called. They are called ethical egoism. Okay. So if it is not self-centered, and there are only 2 options there, by deduction, you have to choose the other one. Okay, social hedonist theory.
Madam, please, you never mentioned.
Hey, Auntie, all that I said, Rebecca, you never mentioned. Listen to me. Look at the options, my lady. They are A, B. There are only 2 options. Okay. You know, self-centered means what? Egoistic. Look at that too. There are not 3 or 4 options. So I deleted the other 2 to make it easier for you. You have only 2, A or B. Then this is disjunctive syllogism we are doing. I just don't want to worry you. Look at it. You know that it is either A or B. I've given you 2 options. Then you know the other one. If it's self-centered, then it is called what? Egoistic. We just went through that. So now the question says, if utilitarianism is not self-centered, a negation of what you know from the 2 alternatives, A or B, not A, then it has to be B. A or B, not B, there has to be a critical thinking, disjunctive syllogism. You do it in element of formal logic, level 200. Okay, so it's just, you don't have to think deep about it. You can give it any big name. Let's look at it. Self-centered, egoistic. Not self-centered, then it will be what? My lady. So social hedonist, whatever it is, crying, you don't care. Social something. So far as the woman has given 2 options, and you know that one of them is not the case, reduction, what I've said, reduce it to the elimination by what? Substitution. Then the very last question, and we can breathe. This brother has disturbed us today. Auntie, ask her.
I asked the question of reality.
Yeah. Who am I? Or what am I? Metaphysics. Finished. It can be epistemology. Reality. Ethics, no. informed consent. No, so it's metaphysics. And on that note, we are done with the first cohort, and I can end. You are able to work through the given options. This one too. All of them. So let's look at the general performance. Who got 50 and wants to tell everyone? Let me take it off the record. Anyone got 50 over, 50 over 50? Something above 50?